My name is Yemi Adenuga. Some would call me Councillor Yemi Adenuga. I'm originally from Nigeria. I'm an Afro-Irish woman who's lived in Ireland since the year 2000. I am a Fine Gael councillor in Navan Municipal District of Meath County Council here in Ireland. I've lived in Ireland now for 20 years, I believe. I actually just stumbled on broadcasting by sheer accident. I was a student at the time and just listening to a radio program, and there was an ad for presenters. They were looking for a new crop of presenters. And my boyfriend at the time, who is now my husband of 29 years, and he said, "You need to go for this interview," because his friends were calling me Voice of America. And I said, "No, no, 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 no." He said, "No, you have to go." I gave him all the excuses in the book. And I said, "I don't have a dress to wear." He got me a dress. "Oh, I don't know how to get there." He said, "I'll get you in the taxi." So anyway, I went for the interview. There were, I think, almost 1,000 people, and they picked only 12. And I was blessed to be one of the 12. And that was Ogun State Broadcasting Corporation, the FM station at the time. This is in Ogun State of Nigeria. So that's how I stepped into broadcasting. And this was way back in 1991. For me, it's a huge honor to go down in the history of Nigerian broadcast industry as the first female presenter to present a program on the first private radio station in Nigeria, that's Ray Power 100 FM, and also to make history as the director and producer of the first program to be aired on the first private television station in Nigeria, AIT. So, I mean, it feels like a huge double honor. At the time as well, I was trained to desire professionalism and always deliver as a professional in whatever area I found myself. So for me, professionalism is always a big deal. Whatever you want to do it properly. Find out how it's done in that industry and deliver it properly. I hosted several programs as well. One of them is the multi-award winning talk show Sharing with Yemi, which was Nigeria's #1 talk show for a number of years. And aside from that, I anchored and produced and directed several television programs. Good Morning Africa, Today's Woman, Sound of Freak. And I researched, I directed, and I produced several documentaries for television. Some of the ones that I really, really loved and spoke volumes to me were Africa, What Hope for Tomorrow. It was the very first program broadcast on African independent television. Life After These, it was on girls in difficult situations in Nigeria. The Italian Connection, it was a documentary I'd done on situations of girls in prostitution in Italy. If Only I Was a Boy, it was on the sexual and reproductive health of adolescent girls in Nigeria. We Can Speak for Ourselves. This was, I think, in 1996. It was for the Day of the African Girl, on the state of the African child. Healing with a Smile. It was on the power of helping others. Love for Sale. It was about young adolescent girls in prostitution in higher institutions. I mean, I could go on and on. I love documentaries. Well, if we fast forward, I moved to Ireland.
I was just gonna ask you that. You seem to have a lot of broadcasting experience under your belt. I mean, you conquered, from all the things you've said, you literally conquered the broadcasting industry in Nigeria. So why did you decide to leave, and why did it have to be Ireland?
When you compare Ireland to some other countries of the world, you would agree that we can still remedy situations in this country. We're small, we're like a community, we're struggling with diversity and inclusion. That's a fact. However, we can still manage our situation. It's a question of in our mindset, changing orientation and agreeing that we have a challenge that needs to be fixed. So the minute I moved here, I fell in love with this country. It became home straight away because for the first time, I felt my spirit settle. There wasn't that hustle and bustle like you have in Nigeria, where you're always hustling and you need to be on the move all the time. So I strongly felt like it was a place where I could raise my children to become better people, so that's one of the reasons why my spirit really settled here when I came to Ireland.
You're mostly known to be the first Black woman to be elected, as a councillor in Ireland. Currently, you you were re-elected into Meath County.
Meath County Council, yes.
Yeah, right. So, talk me through your political journey. Like, how did a young broadcaster who started from Ogun State, how did you turn out to become this politician we know today?
Okay, honestly, I never thought I was going to be a politician, not in my wildest dreams. I've always been a people person. When people ask me, even now, as I run my own business and I work with people, people ask me what you do. My first straight answer is I build people. I've always been a people person. I've not been the kind of person when I first started working in Ireland and I worked in IBM, I knew straight away that I'm not the kind of person to sit behind a desk and crunch numbers. My goodness, it would kill me. I've always been a people person. So for me, it was always getting involved in the community. That was my adrenaline. So in 2018, I was approached by Fine Gael. A delegate from Fine Gael approached me and said the party wanted me to represent it at the local level in Navan. My first straight answer was no, not politics. I don't want to go into politics. I'm happy with what I'm doing. For myself, I needed to know that I could bring something, that I could be part of a solution. Yes, I was working in the community. I was supporting various organizations. I was volunteering. I was a people person. But does that really translate into politics in terms of solving problems within a community? I needed to be clear in my mind about that. And when I was clear then, and when I saw, especially I haven't had serious conversations with my husband, who I knew I needed his support, to run and to be a politician if I was going to step in. So I haven't had serious conversations with him. I somewhat decided that yes, it is a bigger platform for me to do more of what I was already doing. That journey has been the beginning of connecting with people right in the grassroots and understanding how real politics works and understanding why our leaders, a lot of leaders, whether in Europe, whether in Africa, wherever it is, why they're not accountable and why we need to hold them accountable all the time. Understanding and reminding myself consistently, and perhaps the need for us to remind leaders who are right at the top that politics is about the people. There is no politics without the people. There are no politicians without the people. My first year was spent while I was delivering in the community. A good part of it was spent learning politics and unlearning some of the things I had in my mind already about politics to enable me learn new things about politics. The one thing I know for sure now that I've decided is I'm never going to play politics. I'm just going to serve the people. Am I enjoying the journey? At the beginning, I was pulling hair and saying, what have I gotten myself into? But now, understanding it a little better and defining my own style of politics, I realized that, look, you don't necessarily have to play things by the book. You don't have to play things and when I say by the book, it doesn't mean you don't keep the rules. Of course you keep the rules. I won't operate as the norm expects. I would operate as the people will be benefiting. So my journey into politics was one of interest, perhaps by sheer accident, just as I stepped into broadcasting. And it's been one of great learning. And I've fallen in love more with people.
When you started the race to become a councillor, how was it for you? Was it a fierce competition? I wasn't in Ireland at the time, so I wouldn't know if you had an opponent. How was it for you? Did you ever think you could win?
Good question. Did I think I could win? I'm the kind of person who does things full measure, not half measure. When I decided that I was going to run in the elections, the first thing I said to myself was, okay, so let's give this everything we've got. We're in it for the full run. Did I have opponents? I had 15 other opponents. So Navan had 16 candidates at the local elections in 2019, and there are only 7 seats. So here were 16 people fighting for 7 seats. When it dawned on me that there were 16 people fighting for 7 seats, I asked myself, what are you doing? What are you doing? You probably have no business here because you don't have an Irish base. You were not born here. A number of these people they've been, it felt like they were handed politics from generation to generation. Their father and their fathers before them were in politics. So it felt like, they had a family history of politics. And here I was, a newbie, stepping into politics. Plus the fact that I was not just a woman, but a Black woman, trying to do what has not been done before in this country, trying to win an election. I thought of the possibility of not winning. I'm very human and I'm a very realistic person. And so I prepared my mind as well for, if I don't win, I will still support the people that I believe are delivering positivity in this community. My mind at the time was really focused on making my community a better place, just because my mind had decided on running. So it was a tough one. Here you go from door to door to door to door to door. The over 30,000 people, you have to go round and knock on the doors and try to reach as many homes as possible, which was near impossible. We had a very short time to do it. The party didn't have its convention to, finally put us forward until January of 2019. So we had less than 3 months to really canvass and run. Even after the convention, we didn't get all the materials we needed for going out there to canvass. But it was one of the best experiences of my life. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. I met people, I engaged with people, I connected so well with the locals, the indigenous Irish people. The one advantage, which ordinarily would perhaps have been a disadvantage for some people, was that I was Black. So a number of people kept asking me, don't you feel uncomfortable that you're the only Black person running, or you're the only person of color running? And my answer, the very first time I was asked that question, my answer was, actually, no. I feel very advantaged because you cannot miss a Black woman up on the polls in looking at a poster. You can't say you've missed me. I'm the only Black woman there. So rather than see it as a disadvantage, I decided to turn my disadvantage into an advantage. And I decided to embrace that, to encourage myself and to celebrate the advantage of that diversity. One thing I learned from canvassing was that top on the list of the reasons why people vote is the likability factor. You have to be able to convincingly share your vision with people. Like, you may not have all the answers in the world, but people see through the genuineness of what you're selling. And people shared with me different ways to canvass. Oh, you should talk this way. You should, pitch this way. You should express yourself this way. I wasn't too comfortable with them all. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to be me. And on the final day of the count, my Lord, I didn't go to the count, any of the count. I didn't go to any at all. My husband and a couple of the members of our team went to the count, and they would update me on what was going on. But on the last day, they called me and said, dressed up, we're coming to pick you up. We think you have a seat. So I was thinking maybe I have the last seat, which is the 7th seat, but I actually got the 6th seat. So I wasn't even the last. And for me, that was phenomenal. It was phenomenal.
The following candidates to be elected without reaching the quota: Yemi, Adenuga.
Right then, when the results were announced, and as I stepped out, and in my excitement, people were congratulating me, and I was very excited. A reporter came up to me and said, "Congratulations, you are the first Black woman to be elected in a public representative place in Ireland." And I stopped for a moment and I said, "Are you sure? You better get that fact right. You don't want to be speaking something you don't know." And he said, "No, no, you tell me, is there anybody else who's won an election who's a Black woman in Ireland? And I thought, well, not that I know of. And he said, there you are the first. And it hit me like a bolt, you know, it hit me like a bolt. And that's the way that reporter reported it when he wrote, you know, and I think a number of, you know, newspaper houses now got, you know, kind of like wrote the same thing. And after that, the calls that came in from young people, you know, saying, if you can do this, it means we can. For me, that is the win. It's not even just the win at the election, it's the win, the fact that a number of young people now see that they are possible because I was possible.